Hi, it's Heather. I am back with another process video. I am working with my stash. It is the Dear Lizzie Fifth and Frolic collection, which is super old. And I did a little bit of work already. I matted my photo with a couple of pattern papers, and I added some white gesso to the pattern paper and just cut some strips to add to the top and the bottom. And you just saw me adding some shimmers paste through a stencil, and I am adding some more sprays. That is, I am pretty sure that, yes, that is a Heidi Swap Color Shine, and just using the packaging technique. Nothing new, nothing special. I know a lot of people use that. That is the butter shade from Heidi Swap, and I added it in those two separate sections because I was going to add a embellishment cluster up to the top right, and then my photo was going to be sort of placed in that bottom left hand area, and then that mint color, that is also a Heidi Swap Color Shine. And my plan for this, and that is Pop Art Pink, that is from Shimmers, and then I mixed that way too soon. It mixed with the green and then got it all muddy. So I'm just using my brush to spread it around a little bit, spraying directly on there, and now you can see it is a whole new day. The color has changed in the video and everything is dried. And my plan for this layout, which you can see I've already done, that is a cut file that I backed with all the pattern papers. So there were flowers and then there were leaves, and I backed them all, and then I attached the leaves. So the leaves were initially loose. So I knew I wanted to use those. I had cut them a while back and wanted to get them done, used in a layout. So I had cut them in white, so it makes it easy. And I realized at this point that all the mixed media that I had done, I wish I had done it to the left, because I wanted to tuck those flowers in and inside the layers of paper that I've added, and the rest of them were gonna surround my photo. And so here I'm just realizing I wish I had done it a little bit different, but I end up changing it anyway. So that little bowl is just some little random die cuts that I made on my own, and I think that you are my happy. That's from a Dear Lizzie embellishment pack. There were a whole bunch of sayings in different colors, and that matches, but I don't end up using that either. So I keep that little dish, or actually there's a few dishes, out on my desk, hoping to incorporate them on a layout. And if I put them away, then I forget about them. And so that heart is actually cut out of fun foam. I used that cut several of those out on another layout and didn't use that one. So I actually don't end up using that either. But sometimes you have to play around with everything to come up with your final layout. So that embellishment cluster on the bottom right hand side, that does stay. And part of the reason why I had sort of wished I hadn't done the mixed media in the top right is because I thought I would place everything in a sort of diagonal pattern, but I actually didn't end up, I changed my mind, and I was quite happy with the way that it ended up. So right here I'm just going through the embellishments that were included in the collection and trying to determine what to add. And at this point I still had no idea what my title was going to be. This was just a picture of my daughter on the front step. I think it was the last day of school last year. And I had set it aside thinking it would actually be like a school layout, but I have so many of those, and she just looked so pretty sitting there, and sun was shining, and the colors matched the collection. So I just turned it into everyday sort of layout. So I struggled a little bit with the title because I have like a little dish with die cuts, and like that right there that says favorite, that's from a really old Heidi Swapp collection. It's like an acetate piece, and it really didn't work. I couldn't incorporate it into the title. So I set it aside again because I still couldn't decide what to do for the title, and I am just still playing around with the embellishments, and I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. I was trying to use up the embellishments from the collection, even though the main element besides the photo were these flowers that I had cut and backed with pattern paper. And I knew I wanted to tuck some flowers or some of the embellishments into those little strips of paper. So I knew that much. I just didn't know what or how much. So that is another little frame, which I do end up finding a place for. And I do end up layering quite a few pieces underneath the photo. And I used to cringe at the thought of that. But I have come to the conclusion that you can cut it, you can layer it, and even though some of it's or most of it's not being seen, it's okay. You still used it, and it added some sort of element to the page, and in the end, if it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. So I cut one of the frames at a diagonal and slipped that in up top, and then layered the tag and a couple of the other flowers around it. And now I'm just going through some of the flare that I have and adding some thread underneath of it. And there is that other little tray that I keep on my desk. You can see there is just a whole bunch of random phrases, and this tray has just some leftovers from sticker sheets and just puffy stickers. And I am that white said Lovely Beauty, that was a cut file that I had cut out and still didn't use, so I keep them all in that little dish or little tray to remind me to use them. So I do end up going with that sunshine, that puffy sunshine stickers. I think that is from a Maggie Holmes collection, maybe Bloom, or I can't remember, but it's a little bit old. It's certainly not her most recent or even the one before that, but I'm finally committing and I am gluing things down. The flare that I use is from an Etsy shop. I think it's called Cuts to Love. I love them. They have such beautiful flare pieces. And I'm having a really hard time with the the thread that I'm trying to use. I have been going for gold quite a bit lately, but gold thread, if anyone's used it, it's so much harder to manage than regular thread. It's thicker and it just does not want to ball up. So I did back my photo with some fun foam, and there's been a lot of recent conversation lately. I've heard other people mention it in their videos and online about like tissue paper and fun foam, I guess not being safe for your photo. And I guess there's some people who have a really hard time adding those things because, I don't know, in 50 years it might not hold up. Which, if that's their concern, then and they're not comfortable with it, then absolutely don't go with it. But I make these for me, and I make these for my family. And if they are around in 50 years, then that's great. But I don't know that I can really expect that. So a lot of the times fun foam is not applied directly to my photo. There's usually some cardstock or something in between, but I do add tissue paper a lot on the back of my photo. I know a lot of people do. So if it's not photo safe, I guess there will be a lot of damaged photos and scrapbook layouts in the future. Who knows? So Anyway, this sticker book I am going through, it is Paige Evans' Oh My Heart. Or not, I don't even think it's Oh My Heart. I think it's a mix of maybe a few of her collections, but there are so many stickers in there that I have been pulling it out for almost every layout since I got it, and I love it. Like that little scalloped sticker in the top right. It's just the strip of it, that's the length that was in the sticker book. I just tucked it in between the strips of paper. And I add some phrase stickers and yeah, those are the phrase stickers. I think I might add some of the hearts. I don't know what it is lately that it matches everything that I'm doing. I have been digging through my stash a lot lately, and I have noticed, I mean, over the years that a lot of the popular collections and they have a lot of similar colors. They're not matchy by no means, but it's nice because you can mix collections and you don't always have to stick with the same pieces from the same maker. So I am using some of the brads that came with this collection. It was the last time anybody used brads, but I have done a few layouts recently where I have managed to get 2 or 3 or 4 brads on there. And I love brads when they're on there. They're just a pain to get on there, right? I mean, I think that like Simple Stories started going to the flat back ones just because you can get the look of the brad, but not the fuss of it, which is nice. But for a long time, we all have collections that came with actual brads. And once you have your photo and all your embellishments on there, it's hard to get them on there, but I'm glad that I was able to do that. So now I am just going through my stash of some puffy hearts, and those are from Shamel. I hope that's how you say her name. I'm not sure. I think Glitter Girl. There was a whole sheet. It has like dots and hearts and stars. And then those, the darker reddish pink ones, those are from Bella Boulevard. And yeah, the ones I am putting on now are from Shamel. And I'm just scattering some of them around my page. And at this point, I have decided on a title after going through all of those pieces that I have, trying to figure it out, and I just go with Enjoy the Sunshine. So I pulled out some letter stickers that I had, and I don't know where these blue ones are from. I just picked them because they were the right shade of blue and they were the right size. So the sunshine I managed to use, and it matches, and I'm really happy that I was able to finally get that on a layout. And because they're so old, I was having a hard time getting them to stick. So after I put down the blue letter stickers, I use my sewing machine to stitch through them all, and just using my T-ruler to make sure I get them straight, because if I didn't, then they would totally be crooked, which is okay too. I mean, titles don't always have to be straight, but for this one, it did. So I did stitch through them, which I have been doing a lot lately, and I love the way it looks. So this is my finished layout. I really hope you liked it and you found some inspiration in what I've done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another video. Please hit like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Have a great day.